Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Keeping It Real, starring me, David King. I wasn't up here last week, had work to do, but I'm back, and today I am here with my friend that was on a couple of weeks ago, Freddie Cilbrith, and my other friend, Audery Gergory. Today, folks, we're pretty much going to let it all hang out. We have a lot of things going on. We have back to school coming up in a few weeks for kids and college students. We have so many things going on, but I want to start off the show today by giving my condolences to one of the best actors ever, Robin Williams, who passed away. And my heart goes out to him and his family and his kids. We lost a very good actor, and he will sadly be very, very sadly missed. But moving on to new news, let's talk about going back to school. It's quite a fun time because you have kids going back to school, but you have kids starting school as well. I mean, for me, going back to school was always a nervous thing. So many new faces, I guess new teachers, new academics. I mean, I'm not big when it comes to school, but Fred, you are. And you are going back to school.
Yes, I am.
So, are you looking forward to going back to school, or is that like, not really kind of thing?
I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Kind of looking forward to like what? And getting chicks?
No, not getting chicks.
You sure?
Just getting back to going to classwork and doing the homework and getting used to workload and all that kind of junk.
Mm. So you're going back to school. You feel like you're going to have any challenges this new semester?
Well,
or school year?
I'm writing for the paper again. I'm going to be taking publications too, and then mindfulness and lit, which is a online class. So this is the first online class I'm actually taking ever. So I'm kind of nervous about that, how it's all going to work out and everything, but it should be fun.
It'll be fun. And Audery, you going to school as well, I believe. I believe you were talking to me. You're going to night school to get your GED?
Yeah.
All right. So how do you think that's going to be for you? And especially with you, because you haven't been in school in years. So how does that feel for you? Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I just hope,
You find a boyfriend?
I'll be able to finish because with the infant baby.
Oh. Yeah, that's true, folks. Yeah, she had a kid, like I said in one of my previous episodes, Audery here. She just had a son named Jaheem. He's very cute. He's getting long. I think he's turned into a snake or something. But yeah, she just had a little son. So, but I think that you'll do great. We have a lot of people, should go back to school. We have a lot of people that don't finish school, and the fact that you're going back to school is awesome. The fact that you even like, okay, I need to get an education to better my future and myself and my kids. Some people were like, oh, they're content with screw it, school's not for me, so it is what it is. But when you do that, you have the problem with not being able to get a good job and all that other kind of stuff. Look at me for it.
I
got an education. I made sure, folks, I got an education. I made sure I did that. But I mean, another thing, when we talk about going back to school and families and all that, so how your parents happy or proud of you going back to school, or they're like, you should have been going back or something like that?
They don't know I'm going back. I do what I want to do.
So you're not gonna tell them?
Why would they need to know? I'm not a teenager.
They really
need to. But they're really not going to care. They're going to be like, that's good for you. But or that's you're on your own.
You don't want them to be proud of you?
You don't understand. My family,
Yes.
No comments.
What about you, Fred?
Well, they're happy. They're always happy, but they're like, you got to do better. You got to apply yourself, which,
Stop getting stressed out?
Yeah.
And being done with this?
And stop having anxiety.
Exactly. Biggest anxiety.
Like we all have test anxiety and workload anxiety when it comes to college.
There's a lot of people that have anxiety. And a lot of kids are nervous about a lot of things. And going back to school can be a very nervous thing. I mean, you have children, and little Jada, she's going back to school. What is she going to be, first grader?
No, second.
Oh, second grader. My bad. I'm getting old. Second grader.
I think we're both getting old.
Well, you got the fuzz, You got the fuzz and everything. I mean, for me, I like school up to date. Now, when I was a kid, like a lot of young kids out there, I hated school. I hated getting up in the morning. Mm-hmm. I hated waiting for that bus.
Yeah.
And I hated hearing the teacher talk about, spit out your gum. And I'm pretty sure even Francisco here, I don't know, he probably didn't like school himself. But, without school, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
That's true.
And, if I didn't better myself, I'd probably be somewhere, unfortunately, like a lot of people we see right here in Bridgeport, laying on a step somewhere asking for 50 cents, which is very sad, but you see it every day, everywhere you go. And that's why, it's important to go to school. Now, I ain't here to preach and be like, oh, you better go to school and do this. Because at the end of the day, everybody's going to do what they want to do. But you got to look at the outcome of the whole situation. There's good consequences, there's bad consequences for everything that we do.
But the way the economy is today, they're telling you need a college education if you want to get paid more.
True, but not everybody can. Not everybody's ready to go. Not everybody is ready or academically able to go to college.
Right, but you've also told me it matters to have the education, but they'll take somebody who's got the experience over getting the degree.
I mean, that's without question. I mean, why would you not? If in this day and age, with the economy, why would you want to take why would you not want to take somebody who has more of the smarts for the job compared to somebody who, well, I've done it before. They're looking for somebody more high tech, up to date. I mean, and when you're talking about up to date and living on your own, I mean, well, you can't really touch on this, but anyway, you can and I can. The cost of living sucks.
It really does.
The cost of living sucks. I mean,
especially if you
have
kids.
If you got kids, I mean, yeah. Gun to the head, gallon of milk is like, the only thing that benefits me in a little bit is the fact that I have a disability when it comes to living on my own. But even that becomes costly because they're slowly raising the rent and they're slowly trying to get us out of housing and trying to get us to be out there working so we can be just like everybody else on that playing field. So it gets just as hard. I mean, like she just said, if you got kids, it's one thing, but even living by yourself, like I said, a gallon of milk is like
$4.
$3 going $4 if you add the taxes,
right.
And like I said before, if your neighborhood grocery store is Stop and Shop, you're gonna pay a lot.
Yeah, that's not if you go to the Cornish Krausers right down the street or a couple streets.
Well, I mean, you ain't gonna. What are you gonna get besides a steak and cheese?
Yeah, you're right. That's all they say.
You can't live on a steak and cheese.
Either that or chicken.
You can't live on that alone and yourself. And if you got kids, that's why you shouldn't have kids. You talk about shopping at Krausers. What, you gonna get a steak and cheese overpriced? No. But I mean, all seriousness, it costs to live on your own, and rent is high, and lights is high, and and if you live like where I live, and I live in housing, sometimes housing ain't what it's supposed to be. They say your rent is include this and that, and then you get the place, and half of it don't work. Then you have to go out and buy items to work. Like, for example, your heat don't work. You go out and buy a heater. Well, that runs the electric bill. So now you're paying $200-300 for an electric bill, which is pretty much what you make for monthly living, just to make it so you can have your lights on. I don't even want to go there with kids. I mean, like I said, school uniforms. Throw that out the window by itself. Forget living on your own.
Uniforms is very expensive. Every year I have to spend at least $300 because she's growing.
At least $300. That's at least, remember, they grow.
They grow,
yeah,
so
true.
Everything doesn't fit. So I
and
have to.
The bigger you get, the more it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. And and families, they're not always helpful. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, it's good to have your family. Well, for some folks, like myself, the family ain't always the case. Some of us don't come from those good family backgrounds, and some of us are just, you are on your own, by yourself, and have to make it on your own. And that's easier said than done. I mean, for you, Fred, I mean, you got it great, and you got it great. Yeah. You got the flowers and the trees. And
you got it good. You got breakfast.
For real, you got breakfast and 3-course meals. I want to go to your house.
Fried chicken.
Exactly, Mr. Fried Chicken.
Cheese.
But for the rest of us that live in like PT and Marina and the towers, it is way different. I mean, everything costs, and we struggle every day. I mean, there's days I feel like giving it up. I mean, just recently we had a lady who passed away in our building, unfortunately. She got drunk and alcohol poisoned herself to death. Her reason was for a whole nother reason. But see, situations like that happens every day in these bad neighborhoods because people get so stressed out with trying to make it that they resort to drugs or they resort to alcohol to hide the pain or to hide the fact that I have not a dollar in my name. And when I mean not a dollar in my name, I don't mean like, okay, I got a buck. No, literally, I'm negative $219 in a bank account, and I got nothing in my pocket, and trying to make it to the next payday. And even when I get to the next payday, you're trying to ask yourself, what's going to happen? Because once I put that check in the bank, guess what? The bank is going to eat the $200-some more dollars, and then you're still trying to figure out how am I going to get this done. Yeah. So the only way you can hide the pain and the only way you can somewhat cope with it, unfortunately for a lot of people, they turn to drugs, they turn to alcohol, and they turn to prostitution and a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, gotten so bad they start selling the baby stuff.
That's sad.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's real sad.
That's terribly sad.
That's real sad. Why would you sell your child's stuff?
I mean,
like, if anything, you sell your stuff.
First of all, you shouldn't sell your stuff at all. That's why you should be smart enough to get an education.
They should be Rachel.
Well, that's another story. I'm not going to touch on that. We don't need that running around here.
No, we don't.
I mean, but, a lot of, some kids have it good. Like you, Fred, and I've said to you a lot of times, you guys can't, always take stuff for granted. Those that live in that good neighborhood, you are very lucky and fortunate and blessed to live in those good neighborhoods. But that don't mean, I take it for granted so I don't have to do anything. And then, hey, mom, dad, do this for me. No, because your mom and dad, you got to look at it. They got where they are because they worked for it, And if something happens to them, you're not going to stay there because if you don't work, you're going to be just where I am.
You're going to be going on state at that point.
You're going to be where I am. I mean, and those like myself, what I don't understand about those who live in my community, Pacific Way, we unfortunately were born into this. We want to get out of this, but we do nothing to get out of this besides complain and talk about, I'm about that life. About what life? Well, this is like, it annoys me.
What are you talking about?
We're not going to go there. But I'm just saying, like, okay.
I hope you're not talking about daddy.
Well, but like, okay, Audery, like where we live. They always cry about, I want to get out the hood, I got to move out of here. But yeah, then they talk about, I don't feel like going to work today.
So how you trying to move?
Bingo.
You need money.
Light bulb. You need money to get out of the ghetto. And then you have the Freddie side of town, the Freddie part of town where they already have it set. Mm-hmm. Big house, picket fence. So they the opposite. If they have to eat ravioli today, they have a fit. You know what? Homeless kid or homeless person would love to be where all three of us are set. Because one, in your case, they living like a king. I want to be in your spot. Okay? Number two, I'm very grateful for the fact that I have a place to live. But a homeless person would trade, for all the complaining we do and everybody out there in the community does about what they don't have, we never take a second to say what we do have.
That's true.
I tell you all the time, Fred. I mean, how many times I would give it up. I mean, you talk about you live in the hood, but yet you can leave your front door open and nobody walks in. If I leave my front door open, I guarantee you my flat screen is done.
Yeah. I leave my door open. Somebody robbing us.
I think you about to say you leave your flat screen outside. Like that's probably why you don't have one. That's probably why she don't have one. I mean, it's sad. Like, I watch Audery here, and her daughter Jada play. She can't even go outside and play because you never know what's in the hallway floor, like crack needles, and you can't even go outside and play because there's a child molester at every corner. It's so sad that a 6-year-old has to be more cooped up in the house like she's in prison than anything else, and that's why I'm always trying to encourage Audery and those like Audery, do something with your life because there is no dedication to the hood. Okay, I gotta represent. What are you representing? You're representing no heat, hot water, starving.
Bridgeport Towers.
Ain't nobody representing that. Ain't nobody representing that. But I mean, it's just sad. Like, for me, I want to leave where I live one day, and there's some viewers out there that probably like, yo, I want to move out here one day too, but we can't do it if we feel we got to gangbang or we got to hang out with our homies. Like, I got no dedication to my homies when it comes to making myself better. Like, I ain't no backstabber or nothing, but at the same time, if it's about going to work and making my money, ain't no girl, ain't no friend gonna stop me from making that money. Have some of my boys like, yo, but my girl and me going through problems. So what? You get another girl. My baby mom, as long as you love your kids, your baby mom's your baby dad. You take care of you. And that's what all that kind of stuff keeps us locked in poverty because we worry about the things that we don't even really need to be worried about. We spend so much energy and time worried about why that girl ain't with us, why this dude ain't here. Where if we just did what we had to do for ourselves and only relied on ourselves, we be good.
Right.
We be good. And as far as you go, if you guys would stop whining about what you want and embrace what you have, and forward that and say, I already have this. If my dad was a lawyer, let me study to continue his success. Even if you're not a lawyer, do something so you can continue
Right.
You watch these reality shows of the rich and famous, and I forgot that show that comes on with the billionaire and his family. It's like a reality show about this rich guy.
Right.
But you know how they stay rich. You know how their kids stay rich how they get old. The parents die, but the kids get older, and the kids are filthy rich. That's
because they ain't got a trust fund in the back.
Beyond that, because the trust fund can run out. Because I can get it at 16 if I'm that rich and blow it on some Lamborghinis and be done. I'll tell you why. Because they do what we don't do, and that's because those kids, they go to school, they go to class, they may dress like a bum, they may look like a nerd, but I guarantee you, we working for them one day.
True.
When you see that guy sitting in that Lamborghini, he wasn't worried about how cool he was in school. He was that bookworm that was worrying about if I just carry the 4 and divide by 3. He was worried about that. We're sitting there worried about worried about girls. You finally got the idea. Stop worrying about nonsense. And how about your friends about we're gonna hang out tonight?
Please don't talk about her.
Yeah, right.
Please, we're not gonna talk about her right now.
But even for myself, like some viewers out there, even like myself, I'm sitting there worrying and being depressed because I don't have a girl, because I don't have this and that. And sometimes even I do it. I don't take a step back and say, dude, look what you have. You're 27 years old and look what you have accomplished. I mean, for one, I'm sitting in front of a TV camera. I mean, all three of us, how many people at our age are saying they're sitting on TV?
Not a lot.
But we wouldn't be doing that if we were lighting it up. We would not be doing that.
I just gave...
Or drinking some Guinness.
Stupid.
Continue.
I gave my writing off to somebody today, which I was very nervous about that, but,
You wasn't done with this stuff, right?
No, I wasn't done with anything.
How's the tube socks?
Tube socks are good.
Well, go on.
But I just gave my writing off to somebody today, and I was nervous, but I'm kind of excited, too, because I get to learn more about how it all works.
I mean, and that's good. I mean, you're bettering yourself. I mean, for me, I just picked up more hours from my job, and I'm happy about that. I like that job because I get to help other disabled kids and have their day becomes more fulfilling. So I'm very happy about that. I mean, I'm not happy about the weather tonight, but that's another story. Rain. But all in all, there's always that controversy. And being young, our mind is never focused on what we should be focused on, and it is hard because fitting in is what we do. Fitting in is our life. That is the majority of our life, from TV to electronics. That's what we do. But we have to think, all that's good right now, but what's going to happen 10, 20 years later?
Yeah.
Your dad ain't thinking about what's on TV more than he's thinking about paying the mortgage.
Yeah. But it's like you said, if we're 27, if we don't start doing something now, then in the next 10, 20 years, who knows what's going to happen?
Oh, that goes without saying. I mean, the older you get, the less time you get.
Yeah.
And we're very fortunate as well that we all have good health. My guest next week coming on the show, unfortunately, he's not as lucky as the three of us sitting here.
Right.
Which you'll hear more about his story come next week. But, after talking with him and just being around him made me think twice about things that I do. Because, I'm in good health and I don't have much family, but I have what they call an extended family. I have friends that support me in all I do and stick by my side no matter what, and cleaning up after me even when I'm probably puking somewhere on the bathroom floor. Which, even though I get mad
Good job, Freddie. Good job.
Even
though cleaning after him.
Even though I get mad at him, or sometimes I cuss him or whatever. At the end of the day, I don't think that I'd be sitting here without them. You guys are a backbone of what I do, of everything that I do. The fact that you look up to me and, well, I don't know, you kind of like in the wifey role, but helping role.
Yeah. Because she's the one person that'll go nuts in the hospital saying, what the heck happened to you?
Right? Let's stop talking about that. Not right now.
I'm going to have to ask her mom, can I marry her?
Right?
Not right now.
You want to sign the birth certificate?
Well, I tried.
Not right now, guys.
But, but at the same time that you guys always tell me how you're proud of me and how I hold my own, I'm proud of you guys. And everything that I've watched you guys do, I'm proud of. You're not a father, thank God. You're not a father, but you're not on the street, and you are at least going to school. And I'm proud of you that you've been doing well and trying to better yourself. And I've known you since you were 16. And I watched you go through a roller coaster and stuff, but I'm not going to get into that. But I'm happy, like I said to you before. I wasn't happy about you having another kid.
I'm depressed.
But you know what? I am happy that you having another kid made you slow down.
A lot of people say
that. And for a lot of people out there, sometimes it takes that big thing to happen in their life for them to start coming to grips with reality of life. But
it's depressing, though.
It's depressing.
It's depressing because, I don't do what I used to do. I don't work. So it's depressing. I just sit at home.
But you know what? You do have one consolation prize.
You got the kid.
Oh, your kids love you. She got kids with an S now. Not kid, kids. Kids. But your kids will love you, and your kids will think highly of you. And I said this before last time when you were on my show. There's a lot of young parents out there that their kids will probably grow up and not respect their parents. Mm-hmm. You may say it's boring now, but one day your kids will not only thank you, but be happy that you were their mother and not their best friend that goes to the club with them on Friday night.
Princess.
That's your business. That's between you and her. But, it's, like I said, it takes, sometimes in life it takes that big moment. Like for me, it was a very bad breakup that made me really start saying, I need to start doing something with my life.
What breakup?
My breakup with my ex-girlfriend, and unfortunately I tried to attempt suicide, and Then I was in the hospital, and then I came out. But that woke me up and said, I need to do something besides worrying about what I don't have. You know, and now I'm grateful. I have a dog at home who loves me to death, and who's always happy to see me. And you know what? Just like your kids, she can never care less as long as I treat her right. And
She
feed
will
her.
go buck wild when he
And
walks
she-
through the door.
Remember
she's
when I
happy
was
to see it.
pregnant? I was walking her,
Still a little pregnant.
and she was dragging me. She was dragging me because she wanted to go with him to work, and I had to scream at
I mean,
her.
Fred, I think for you, when your parents told you not to come back home one time, I think that started to wake you up and said, wait a minute. My father really would kick me out. You know,
Yeah.
I think I should stop hanging around with idiots
Yeah.
that drives to a ditch and start getting serious on your academics.
Right.
And the results of that, last year, you actually passed. By the way, speaking of pass, what is IMS on a college program?
We're not going to get into that.
Is that maybe? Must?
He said we're not going to get into
We're not
that.
going to get into that.
I mean, or is that just your thing for worker? You got your own thing for grades now too. You know, we're getting close to the end. It kind of sucks because I can keep going forever, but you know,
Well, we're only 27, dude.
I'm talking about the show, fool. I'm talking about the show. We're getting close to the end of the show. For some people who don't get it, but it's a whole new year about to start. Summer's about to say goodbye. We're getting ready to all get frozen by winter. School year's gonna start, and election time's gonna come up. And you know, what we do next is all gonna be up to us. No matter who's in office, no matter what the school year brings, it's gonna be up to us what happens in our life. And just like those at home, at the end of the day, it's up to you what happens in your life and nobody else. But we're coming to the end of our show. Wrapping up, I want to say, of course, as usual, thank you guys
No problem.
for doing what you guys do
You're
and helping me
welcome.
out, and plus coming on the show. And although I also thank those who watch my show, and just continue, for those out there, keep your heads up and continue living life to the fullest, because you never know what day might be your last day. As far as that go, I'm David King. This is Fred Cilbrith. This is Audery Gergory. You've been watching Keeping It Real. Thank you, and have a good night.